Hello everybody, and just recently I've been looking at a few old posts of mine and a few old articles, and I thought I might talk today about the music industry strategy. Reason being that I've just found out information that says that the recording industry is not making as much money as it used to. Where I get those facts is actually going to be Torrent Freak, which is where I actually got this. I'm actually going to be doing an expose on the music industry's global anti-piracy strategy, and I thought I might start with this one first. Now, this confidential internal report was actually made by IFPI, and unfortunately it was put online by the group itself, which is good news for everybody who hates the IFPI, which is the International Music Group, as well as the recording industry and the Motion Picture Association, because it says that things such as torrent sites and cyber lockers, what behavior IFPI expects of internet service providers, the effectiveness of site blocking, all of this is basically going to be in that report. Now, this report was dated April 2012. And it was obtained by Torrent Freak, while it was put together by Mo Ali, the Chief Anti-Piracy Officer. The 30-page report presents a global view of IFPI's problems, current and future threats, and the industry's responses to them. So, it has 5 things that it does: takedown, disruption, investigation, lobbying, and litigation. I mean, it's just broken up, and it's as simple as that. So the threats in regards to peer-to-peer, it wants to split illicit content availability into 2 sections. They classify it as content held on users' computers and distributed via peer-to-peer networks such as BitTorrent, Gnutella, Direct Connect, eDonkey, and Ares. It wants to take strategic action against the BitTorrent site, the Pirate Bay, LimeWire, and also the semi-private tracker Demonoid. Now, of course, it didn't go into detail, but if you've been paying attention to technology news, Demonoid has essentially been taken down and offline, and it's also been sold, or rather it wants to be sold, but it can't. The central hosting cyberlockers, this is another threat. What it's trying to do here is that there is a nice little picture here, and I'll just go ahead and lower this a little bit so you can see it, or rather, if you can see it, I'll try to enlarge it a little bit. There we go, so you can see it for yourself. So how the landscape looks. Most of it is owned by FileSonic. WUpload.com has a decent majority. So over 50% is held by FileSonic since Mega Upload was taken down. And if you know where Mega Upload is right now, currently they're winning their extradition again, and because the FBI made a ton of mistakes, which I'll have to describe in another video. Now let's go ahead and go down a little bit. What they're trying to do, their number one desire is to proactively filter for infringing content. Other than that, they have to operate an effective and efficient notice and takedown system. Failure to implement either means sites will be required to shut down. So they're still going after piracy with everything that they can muster. Now, they try hacking and phishing attacks against email accounts of artists and their management, which is very surprising. So these techniques, individuals are apparently obtaining unauthorized access to pre-release music. So a number of techniques are being used, such as bogus emails claiming to be from social networking, email, or cyberlocker sites, to the compromising of password reset features. So once they access it, the mail is forwarded to other accounts, either with the music attached or with valuable information which allows other systems to be accessed. The rise of mobile data and applications, IFPI keeps a close eye on the downloading and sharing of that content across mobile data and other wireless networks. What they try is that they try to match an IP address to the subscriber, but the problem here is that an IP address can't really be matched up to a subscriber all that successfully, especially in a court of law. And now in the United States, because of how BitTorrent cases have essentially been working, you can no longer use the IP address for a subscriber. People have basically wisened up to it, especially with all of the porn lawsuits that were going around. Apple and the Android architects architectures are encouraging creation of third-party music apps such as Spotify, such as Microsoft or the App Store or Google Marketplace. So what they're trying to focus on are quick takedown agreements with Apple, Google, Microsoft, Nokia, and Palm to remove the apps that they don't like. And they're also trying to fight payment provider programs so they can target rogue Android app developers. Now, whoever is a rogue Android app developer, we have no idea at this current point in time. Now, other things on the take are unauthorized pay MP3 sites. They've identified 50 Russian and Ukrainian pay MP3 download sites. MP3.com was one of them. But that was in Russia at the time. So I don't know exactly how that is working at this current time. The group is reporting that law enforcement authorities have secured evidence that the illegal sites are annually stealing hundreds of millions of dollars. So they're creating opportunities for money laundering and tax evasion investigation. So IFPI says their next steps will include strangling the site's finances with the help of payment processors, think PayPal, recovering proceeds of crime. So they're going to tie them up in very strong in lawsuits, frivolous lawsuits, and developing asset confiscation, civil asset forfeiture laws being used and abused. So advertisers and payment processors. Now, IFPI's advertiser strategy is based around the disruption of revenue streams to unauthorized sites by several methods. In other words, they're trying to build a permission culture. They speak of a structured notice and takedown program targeting Google's AdSense and double-click advertising networks. The thing is, Google's AdSense program doesn't even pay all that much, and people have found other ways to have advertising networks. So they have agreements with Visa, MasterCard, PayPal, CTIA, Monetize, PaySafeCard, and PhonePay Plus. So people are essentially going to stop using these and may just begin to use things such as Bitcoin just to avoid all of the hassle that's going on. Now, the reason how they want to deal with service providers. They have a set of rules they'd like to impose on internet service providers. So ISPs should not provide internet access to infringing sites, services, or even unidentified customers. Now, if you thought SOPA was over, unfortunately it is not. So the ISPs are required to implement a system of graduated response for infringing peer-to-peer users, including warnings to an effective deterrent sanction. I wonder how this is going to work if someone is downloading from a library. Now, of course, ISPs have to do site blocking by the IFPI standards to block access to infringing sites and services located outside the local jurisdiction. Here's a list of all of them that have been carried out. Now, on this list, there should be the United Kingdom, which is here at October 2011. IP and URL DPI, they've been carried out. This really hasn't worked. IFPI seems to think that site blocking is an almost perfect solution to counter infringement, but it's really not working. So it depends on the determination of the ISP subscriber and the content website provider to maintain access to each other and to use circumvention techniques to bypass blocking techniques. So here's the conclusion. I'm not going to get into the evidence because I really don't think this evidence is going to work. The IFPI finishes up by stressing the importance of cooperation, partnerships, and information exchange, and the building of relationships with law enforcement, judges, and legal bodies in order to provide training built around real-world experiences and challenges rather than focusing on theory. Here's the thing. If they were focusing on real-world experiences, they would sit here and try to provide a better alternative to piracy. But instead, they're just making it more likely that people are not going to be paying them in the future. So look at it for yourself. Amendments to relevant laws need to be planned for the future, but in the short term, IFPI should consider quick curveball solutions to impact more complex operations as complement to long-term investigations. So look at exactly what they're doing. They're going to the law when people do not respect this law, and they're going to continue to pirate or do whatever they think is necessary. It's just absolutely ridiculous that they continue to fight a problem that just doesn't exist. But of course, I want to know what other people think. I have a few more stories that I'm going to be doing for the time being. Of course, this is the Copyright Activist signing off on leaked reports, and I'll see you all next time.